I want to tell you about the most difficult subject I have ever studied. Far more difficult, in my honest opinion, than science, mathematics, physics, any language, any philosophy we can think about. This was the most difficult attempt that I ever made. And here's the part that will sound a little strange. I'm not going to try to convince you it's real. I won't even ask you to believe a single thing I say in this video. I'm going to ask you to do the opposite. Not believe me. Just listen all the way through and then go study and verify yourself. If something rings true, it will. If it doesn't, that's also fine. But I'd like to share what happened to me when I tried. The subject I'm talking about is Jyotisha. In English, you'd call it astrology. But that translation is misleading because most of the people in the West call astrology as newspaper horoscopes, sun sign personality lists. This is to Jyotisha what a children's drawing is to the night sky. The same subject in name only. The actual meaning of Jyotisha is the science of light. It was one of the 6 Vedantas, the auxiliary disciplines designed to actually support Vedas. And in the tradition, it is called the eye of the Vedas. The eye, not a footnote, not a folk practice, the organ by which the whole system sees. To even begin studying it, you have to actually learn mathematics, spherical geometry, and other sciences. The astronomical calculations that let you locate a planet in the sky at the moment of someone's birth. It's a very important part of it. The Sanskrit terms, such as the precision of the system, depends on words that don't translate cleanly in English or any other languages. The system of houses, of signs, the planets, their aspects, the dashas, the yogas, the classical texts such as like Parashara, Jamini, Varamira, Kepi, each disagreeing with each other on certain points as well. The empirical case history work where you read thousands of charts and watch what plays out. And after 20 years of that, you have learned maybe one wing of it. This is why I want to say plainly, anyone who tells you that they have mastered Jyotisha is lying. Not exaggerating, lying. The honest practitioners I have met, which are really serious ones, all say the same thing. I know a small corner of this. I am still a student. The subject is the size of universe it tries to describe. No human being lives long enough to finish it completely. And I want to tell you why it's so vast. Because once you see this, the whole subject stops looking like a superstition and starts looking like something else entirely. Jyotisha is not really one subject. It's a place where many subjects meet. It contains the astronomy of how the planets move, the mathematics needed to track them across thousands of years, the Sanskrit precision in which the rules are stated, the geography of where a person is born on this earth. The history of thousands of charts have unfolded across generations, recorded as case studies. The psychology of how human beings make decisions inside the conditions they are given. The philosophy of cause and effect, karma, what we call it. The faith inside the act of asking the questions in the first place. I'm leaving things out because honestly, I don't know all of it. I'm not going to list disciplines I haven't studied just to sound impressive. But the picture you should have in this. When the ancient rishis built this subject, they weren't building a fortune-telling tool. They were building a language for the relationship between the human life and the rest of the cosmos. And to build that language, they had to invent or refine every supporting discipline. Astronomy was developed to feed Jyotisha. Mathematics was developed to feed Jyotisha. Sanskrit precision was in part developed to feed Jyotisha. So when you say, I don't believe in astrology, what you are often actually rejecting is the cartoonish Western version, the newspaper column. And I get it. I reject it too. It's so disgusting. But the thing I'm describing, the original thing, is one of the most serious, sustained intellectual projects any civilization has ever undertaken. It deserves to be either accepted or rejected on what it actually is, not on its caricature. I want to tell you how I came to this, because the story matters more than the philosophy. When I was young, my father knew a little bit of astrology. Not professionally, he had learned it from his grandfather, the 3 generations back before me. And every once in a while, he quietly, almost casually, he would come and tell me like, these are the situation, you might face certain dilemma, certain decision making or difficulty or an opportunity. And it almost every time landed correctly. I want to be honest about how I reacted. I was annoyed. I would think, how does he know? What does he do? Because I had decided very early that I would not live my life by predictions. I would not look at any charts. I would not want to know it. My idea, and I was thinking I was right at that time, and was that I would do my karma fully every day, not looking ahead, just live. Whatever happens, happens. You can call it ignorance, but that's what I was in my teens and my younger age. I refused to take this cheat code. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to think I came from this. I'm from inside of astrology or have been learning it from long time. I didn't. I was a skeptic. I was a skeptic for a very long time. And then my life took a turn. I want to be careful in how I say this because I don't want to dramatize my own difficulties. But there was a period in my life, a long one, when almost everything I had built broke at once. Financial troubles, academic stress, failures, I couldn't recover from any situation quickly, disrespect from the people I trusted, heartbreaks, losses, and then the hardest part, the death of many people in my family. I loved actually, most of them. People I've grown up with, And when that much falls at once, something in you, every belief you had, gets tested. Every single one. And I sat down and I started, very honestly, to ask, was anything I believed actually true? Or was I just running a borrowed certainties I'd never examined? That period almost broke me. What came out from the other side was a different person. One who didn't believe in anything anymore. One who was willing to look at everything again from the scratch. I started reading esoteric sciences, agnostic philosophy, spirituality, anything that didn't insist I take its word. I was tired of being told what to believe. I just want to look as a seeker. And in that looking as a seeker, somewhere in those years I came back on my own to the thing I'd refused as a boy, Jyotisha. And what struck me first was the most cliched line in every grief book in every language. Time is the biggest healer. I had read it 100 times. I had nodded politely at it. I had never understood it. But what Jyotisha showed me slowly over the months of reading and watching my own life was that time itself has a structure. Different periods of my life carry different weather. A planet whose effects dominate for 7 years give way to one whose effects dominate for next 16 years. The pain of one chapter doesn't last forever. Not because you got over it, but because the conditions that produced it actually passed. The wheel turns, the light changes. What was unbearable at one period of time becomes bearable in the next. Not because you became stronger, but because the cosmic season changed underneath you. And the moment I understood that, really understood it, from inside, not as a phrase, time is the biggest healer, stopped being a cliche and became a description of a real mechanism. I felt it. For the first time in years, I felt the weight of those losses begin to lift. Not because I forgot, because time had moved, and so had I. I want you to notice what Jyotish did not do, by the way. It didn't predict my life. Nobody who is serious about this subject would say it does. What it did was something quieter and to me much more valuable. It gave me a frame to read what was already happening. It told me these conditions are temporary. This chapter has a shape. We're not going crazy. The pressure you are feeling has a name and a season and an end date. And once I could see that, once the suffering had a shape, I stopped fighting the same thing in the same way. I stopped trying to drag myself out of season by sheer will. I started doing what every wise tradition has always told you to do, which is to meet the season as it is. Do my honest work inside it, and trust that the wheel will turn because the wheel always turns. That was the gift, not a cheat code. I'd refused something deeper, a map of weather of a life, not the future, the shape of the present. Now I need you to stop here and address something, because I know what some of you are thinking. But astrology has been tested. It doesn't work in controlled scientific studies. You're right. The classical study, Sean Carlson, published in Nature in 1985, gave professional astrologers anonymous personality profiles and asked them to match them to the natal charts under double-blind conditions. The astrologers performed at chance. Several follow-up studies have found the same. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to tell you the experiment was flawed. The experiment was reasonable. It did what it set out to do. What I'm going to tell you is that experiment was testing one specific thing, whether astrologers under lab conditions can match personality profiles to charts they have never seen. And it found out that on that specific task, in that specific setup, the answer is no. But that is not what Jyotisha is. Jyotisha is not a profile matching engine. Come on, guys. It is a contemplative, philosophical, symbolic system for situating a human life inside the rhythms of cosmos. Asking it to perform a personality profile test is little like asking a poem to pass a chemistry quiz. The poem will fail. That doesn't make poetry false. It means you used wrong test. The honest position is, by the standards of controlled empirical prediction, Jyotisha does not perform above chance. By the standards of millennia-old contemplative tradition that has shaped the lives of hundreds of millions of people, it has done something controlled experiment cannot measure. Because of these things are true at once. I'm not asking you to ignore either one. Which brings me to the things I actually want to say to you. I'm not asking you to believe me. Some of you will hear what I just said and you're ready to defend me. Don't. Some of you will hear and you'll be ready to dismiss me. Don't do that either. both moves, the rush to believe and the rush to disbelieve, are the same move. Listen it again. Some people will believe it and try to defend me. Some people will try to dismiss me as they don't believe it. Don't do that either. Both moves, the rush to believe and the rush to disbelieve, are the same moves. They are both your mind grabbing for a solution so it can stop the discomfort of not knowing yet. Think about it. I'm not asking you to skip past the discomfort. I'm asking you to sit in it. Listen to everything in this video and then go and study and understand the subject yourself. Not from me, not from texts, not from honest practitioners. From your own chart. If you have the curiosity, from your own life, watched carefully over years. Because here's something I learned hard way. The word believe is a chain. The moment you say I believe, you have drawn a small box around one tiny visible thing in your life and told the universe, I want to live inside this box. You have stopped the flow. You have narrowed yourself. This is the path of the seeker, not believer. The seeker doesn't conclude. The seeker keeps looking. The seeker asks the questions and let questions stay open, sometimes for years. That openness, that is the freedom, not the answer. The willingness to wait for one. You're just trying to find an end. So don't trust me. Don't trust anyone. Question everything. The truth has been here for thousands of years. It can wait until you find it yourself. I want to say one more thing in this part of this video because I owe it to you. This subject is not for everyone, and I mean that respectfully. It is not for people who want a quick answer. It is not for people who want fame, money, or manipulate others. It is not for people who are looking for a cheat code or to bypass the work actually living. If you come across Jyotisha for any of those things, you'll either get nothing or worse, you will learn just enough to convince yourself you are learning something and you'll cause damage to yourself. This subject asks something of you before it gives anything back. It asks you to first do the unglamorous work of getting honest with your own life. It asks you to stop trying to bend it to your preferences. It asks you to become slowly the kind person you could be trusted with the tools this serious. The serious practitioners I have ever met have one thing in common. They are not chasing anything, not fame, not money, not validation. They have quietly done the inner work first. And the knowledge came to them as a consequence of that work, not as a substitute for it. If you're willing to be that kind person, this is for you. If not, no problem. There are different paths in this world. So let me tell you what Jyotisha actually gave me, not what I expected. What it actually gave. It gave me contentment, not the giddy kind. The quiet kind, the kind that's still there at 11 p.m. when no one is watching. It gave me peace, not the absence of difficulty. I still have difficulty, but the absence of the second layer of suffering, the one where I used to fight the difficulty as well as feel it. It gave me gratitude for the seasons that brought what they brought, even the hard ones, even the ones that broke things. It gave me patience because I learned that what feels permanent right now will end, and what I'm chasing right now will arrive on its own scheduled time. Not my time. It's the universe time. It gave me empathy because when you understand that other people are also moving through their own weather, you stop judging them for the temperature of their day. It gave me creativity. I don't know exactly how. But once you stop using the mental bandwidth fighting your own life, that bandwidth becomes available for other things. And maybe most importantly, it gave me willingness to trust. The trust that life is going somewhere I can't yet see. To trust that people I have lost were always meant to walk only part of the way till that moment. To trust that what's coming is being prepared for me by something larger than my own planning. By the word's measurement, I have what gets called a successful life. Work I'm proud of, a family I love, the basic things in order. I want to be clear about something here. None of those external things gave me what I just listed. Astrology didn't give them to me either. What Jyotisha gave me was the inner condition that lets me actually receive them without grasping, without comparing, without fear that they all will disappear one day. That is what changed, not my life, my relationship to my life. There's one more thing this subject does to you, and I think it's the deepest gift of all. It reminds you every single day of how small you are. The planets that the system tracks are millions of kilometers from us. Some are billions. Some of the patterns it observes unfolds over decades. Some over thousands of years. When you read your own chart, even as a beginner, you start to see this small life of mine is being held inside something enormous. The cosmos was here for billions of years before me, and it will be here for billions of years after me. And that scale should crush you. It crushes most modern people when they actually let it in. If I'm this small, what does anything I do matters? But here's a strange thing Jyotisha taught me. The scale doesn't crush you. It does the opposite. Once you really feel how small you are here, how tiny your reach is in this cosmic count of things, every small good thing you do becomes precious. The next conversation, the next kindness, the next hour of work that you do, the breath you are taking right now, each one becomes infinitely valuable because there are so few of them. You can't carry the whole cosmos, but you can hold one moment with care, and that turns out to be enough. That turns out to be everything. And finally, the deepest thing, the thing all of this has been pointing at. There's an old Sanskrit phrase, 3 words from the Brihad Aryanka Upanishad, one of the oldest texts in human history. Aham Brahmāsmi, I am Brahman, I am that. The deepest claim of this whole tradition, and what Jyotisha keeps gently pointing at, even though it never says it directly, is that the consciousness reading these stars and the consciousness being read by these stars is the same consciousness. The planet up there and the awareness down here are not 2 separate things. They are 2 reflections of one self. You're not a small person inside a vast universe. You are the universe, briefly looking out through one set of eyes. If you can hold that even for 1 minute a day, every other question quiets down. Why am I here? To actually experience this. What's the point of any of this? There isn't a point because you are the point. What happens when I die? Nothing. Because what you actually are was never born and cannot die. Jyotisha does not give you that realization. No subject does. The realization, when it comes from inside of you. After enough quiet, after enough study, after enough of your life has rubbed against you to wear down the parts that thought you were small and separate. The subject is only a finger pointing at the moon. Don't mistake the finger of what's pointing it at. So, here is what I'm leaving you with. I'm not selling you astrology, I'm not selling you to follow any practitioner, anyone. I'm telling you not to even believe what I said. I'm just telling you the story of how one specific subject saved one specific person, and that is me. From a period of in my life which was nothing could have been done. I had no visions. I was lost. And it didn't save me by predicting anything. It saved me by giving me a map of a weather and the patience to actually wait through the season, which I cannot change. If that story moves you, go study the subject yourself. From the text, from the honest practitioners, from your own chart if you ever pull it out. Don't take anything I said tonight on my word. Test it with your own life. And if it is moving you or did not move you, it's okay. Everything is fine. Walk your own path. There are many paths. They all reach the same place eventually. The only thing I'd ask is this. Whatever path you walk, don't believe in it. Study it, question it, and let it earn its place inside you slowly. That's the difference between someone who is bound by their path and someone who is genuinely free inside. Be the second one. That's all I have to say today. Thank you for sitting with me through it.